Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here back at Brick Rodeo in Austin, and today I'm back with the legendary Peterson Bros. They are going to be taking us through their updated castle layout. So you might have seen some of our past videos on this where they've had the castle and some of the landscaping, but they've made it bigger and better than ever this year. So we'll have you guys introduce yourselves, then we'll launch on in here.
Hey. Hi, I'm Andrew.
I'm Landon. And I'm Trent.
Okay, so what do you have for us this year?
So this year we've gone for something a little bit different. For anyone that seen the last one, it was about 3 years ago. We had a similar layout, but it was a big jousting tournament festival. This time we went for just something a little more darker with a big battle scene. As you can tell, there's a large undead army that's been raised to take down this castle. You can see just the scores of skeletons up in the front. And when you come around the side, you can kind of see they've got a bunch of siege equipment. They're climbing up the walls, really just starting to breach the castle through the gatehouse there. But also you can kind of see there's a little bit of remnants on the side of the jousting tournament. And the skeletons, some of them have kind of taken it over, doing a little bit of their own jousting, having a little bit of fun there. But then there's some people actually, it looks like they're trying to get a little bit of actual business done, planning out the war and whatnot. But then as you kind of come around, they've got some large siege equipment set up, got a trebuchet. You can also see a couple catapults a little further in the ranks there. Kind of see, just kind of right over there.
You got to knock down these big, thick walls over here.
Oh yeah. They're having a rough time, although they've managed to get up to and open the gatehouse. And you can, I guess you can kind of see there, we've got a couple like skeleton ninjas that have scaled the walls, get up top. But yeah, and then when you come around, if you look at the front of the mountain, there's a handful of skeletons that are kind of fleeing out of the hole of the mountain in terror. And the reason why is when you come around the side here, you can see inside our mountain, we've got a whole dragon's horde. And some of the skeletons came in thinking they struck gold, found all the riches, not quite realizing there's the dragon there. And you can see that poor skeleton's just a little bit oblivious to what's about to happen.
I love it though. Yes, you gotta have the big scary monster in the build.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun there. Yeah. So if you come up and look on top of the mountain, we've got a couple of our forestmen that are trying to doing a little bit of ambush, take out some of the skeletons. Thought they were a little bit safe on the mountain.
I love that Forcemen. A little bit of a resurgence with the 90th anniversary set that's come out.
Yeah, we've seen that. It's pretty cool to see them kind of coming back out. It helps to at least get some more like minifigs back into that people can get access to. There's a funny little scene inside this little house here. There's a couple skeletons that are kind of posing as normal people, decided they're just gonna leave the battle and live their own life. So yeah, come around the corner a little bit. We've got a cool little fight scene. Two of the gold knights, kind of the elite soldiers, are holding off kind of a small horde of skeletons on their own. We got just a bunch of stuff kind of coming through all of our crops. As always, everyone loves to point out our corn man, just sitting right there. It's a little bit of a fan favorite.
You've got some really tall skeletons, the ultimate ones here.
Yeah, we do. We wanted to get some like bigger, more imposing ones. I actually was kind of saying earlier we want to make them just a little bit bigger because they don't quite stand out compared to our heavily armored knights, or skeletons, I should say. Yeah. So when we come around to the port side over here, we've got a large naval battle, and a lot of this is brand new. These boats we made specifically for this battle, and we wanted to have a navy that is imposing enough to be a large threat to the castle. We've got these large like port ballista defenses, pretty heavily defended port. So we had to have boats that could threaten the castle semi-realistically, as realistic as skeletons get, that is. But these boats, they actually open up, and inside of here there's the necromancer's quarters. He's actually out doing some fighting right now. But also inside the main chamber underneath the boat, we have a section where they're manufacturing skeletons to continue the fight. So
they're just assembling them in the whole of the ship.
Yeah, got the bones, the weapons, everything just kind of going there. We wanted a little funny scene with that.
I love this. So it's all brick built here, then the whole thing.
Yes, yeah. We have a few of the like classic hull pieces at the front to kind of get the shape, but a lot of it's mostly brick built.
Okay. So even a detailed interior in the ships themselves before we even get to the castle.
Oh yeah, that's how we do things. If we've got empty space, we're going to use it. Yeah. So you can see we've got a few other smaller boats. Some of these have been around in previous iterations. We've got all the classic Dragon Knights. We kind of decided they're our navy, and kind of come over. We have a little bit smaller boat, which by its own right is still a large boat. This one, unfortunately, is a little bit too small to have an interior, but there's a little bit of an Easter egg with one of our little alien wall crawlers from our space build that's kind of snuck onto the boat. Figured we'd put a little something in there.
I love all the minifigures here packed on. You've got like the archers up top and everything.
Yeah, we wanted to have just a nice action piece with everything. Some of the skeletons are ready to fight. Others you'll notice might be like missing an armor, just kind of trying their best. I think this little guy in the corner is deciding he's just noping out of here.
He's looking for quieter waters.
Yeah, I think he's done with some war for now. So I think at this point we can start looking at the castle. I guess we can look at the interior first. Kind of talk about the battle scene that's going on in there.
Yeah.
So we've got inside the courtyard, the skeletons have just breached the gatehouse. You can kind of see a few skeletons that are up top that have made their way, open up the gates, and they're flooding in. And all the knights are rushing to kind of defend. At the same time, there's a whole bunch of peasants and townsfolk that are running into the keep to kind of take shelter. And also, you can kind of see in the back the knights are starting to ride out to do a counterattack as a harrying force.
And then what's happening in this section here as it's being removed?
Yeah, so this is up top. I guess we're moving this thing around. We wanted to look at this. We've got our our own Catapult Defense with all of your engineers running it. We got kind of one of our commanders doing some game plans. A scout over here, at least for targeting purposes. And this is the top of our barracks. Sorry, I just misspoke. Our armory, which is the upper floor. We have most of our ranged weapons. And our lower floor, we have a lot of our other kind of melee weapons, spears, swords, axes, all this good stuff.
I love seeing all of the weapons just stacked next to each other like that.
Yeah, we actually took a little bit of time trying to design these specific weapon racks. They're a lot of fun, though. They worked out very well. And as we get here, you'll start to see there's a bit of an underground, and we'll kind of slowly reveal it as everything goes. In the meantime, we kind of start looking at all the stuff that's on the interior. We have a small blacksmith. Looks like our blacksmith, she's ready just to join the fight.
Taking the hammer.
Oh, yeah. She's ready to bash in some skeleton skulls. Over here, I don't think there's a peasant in here at the moment. We have a little pole turner shop, like a little wood lathe, and all the wood stock and everything for that. I guess our knight's fallen over a little bit. That's fine. Go a little further, just kind of keep going through these little buildings. Inside here, we do have a small candle maker. Just a little tiny building. Again, as we said, if there's empty space, we're going to use it.
You got to have all those different logistics people, the creators here in the village, in the castle.
Yeah, that's just we're just packing everything we can in here. I do really like our little bakery here. We've got just a bread. There's a small oven in there. A little bit of a living quarters on the other side. In peace times, we have more people interacting with stuff, but again, a little bit of a battle going on at the moment. So I guess we'll move over. I'll pull this gatehouse off. And so you can kind of see, this is what I was saying, they're kind of breaching the gatehouse. And I got to show, we've got our functioning portcullis. If you look down the middle of it, throw the switch, and it drops, and of course it raises right back up. That was a lot of fun to make. But of course, everything comes apart. You can kind of see inside here, we've got skeletons have kind of taken over, breached this area.
This guy's running for his life.
He sure is, yeah. And we've got inside here even more stuff, and it just continues to break down to all the insides. So, and the cool thing about this, I think we mentioned before, everything's designed to be playable. So you'll see staircases, ladders, doors, hatches, leading everywhere. And if you were a minifigure, you could get around anywhere within this castle.
Now, question, has any disaster ever happened here where, as you've been taking this apart, because you do this for the public several times throughout the day, what's the worst disaster that's happened?
We have fortunately nothing catastrophic has been destroyed. The worst that happens is some of the trees fall apart, but that's kind of expected. They're a little bit fragile. But the buildings, we've engineered them to be very stable. I mean, you kind of see a lot of times when I'm holding these, it's just with one hand. The keep, as big as it is, it's very stable. Well, I mean, we lose the little crenellation bits all the time.
But no, like, whole floor destroyed.
No, that hasn't happened yet. Cool. So here we've got our stables, all of our horses. Got one of our knights that's we've got his little squire helping him mount up so he can head out and join the fight.
Got some great Lego horses in there.
Yep. I think the next thing I want to grab, let's see if I can get our in. Some of this stuff just takes a little bit of work to get out.
It's a team effort here always.
It definitely is. It helps having three of us do all this. So this is our inn. It's very much inspired by the old Guarded Inn set. It's got very much a similar color scheme, but it's got 2 floors to it. We've got the top floor with a couple of rooms. A few people can sleep in. I think one of our peasants is either he's cowering in the top or ready to take a nap. And then inside we've got a little bit of a chaos going on at the scene. You'll notice there's a little bit of a winch system with a barrel coming up. Underneath it, you'll see in the underground, there's a wine cellar that's directly under this that they can pull the barrels straight up from. Mm-hmm. So the next thing we've got here is our church. Again, more chaotic scenes going on, but some fun things to point out here. We've got some cool stained glass in the back as well as the sides. There's a large piece on the front. This is only half of it. The other half is on the roof that came off. But a personal favorite of mine is our organ in the back. I'm just a big fan of how that turned out.
Yeah, I love it. Even the flooring there has the colors in it.
Yeah, we try to get a lot of, just detail wherever we can get it. Flooring and the fancier stuff, we like to, detail that as well. So the next thing we've got is the keep. We've got a little guy hanging off here. So the top floor of the keep, we just got a lot of, defenses going on here. We've got like our king standing up top, ready to go. We've got a small sitting room. Normally in peacetime, you might hold a little bit of council or just relax in there. We've got another one of our alien bugs up here. But other than that, we've got some ballista defenses. We've also got a small telescope, which they'd be used for some astronomy. Just our gardens, statues. Just a little bit of fun stuff going on up here.
You guys need your sig figs there with the telescope up there.
It's a good point. We do need that. If people don't know, we've all worked for astronomy. Trent works for the University of Texas Astronomy Department. I worked there for a while. Now I'm an aerospace engineer in San Antonio. Yeah. So we all like space. So this next part, this is the living quarters for all the royalty. It's in the castle. We've got the king and queen's chamber up here. We've got the king's personal set of armor in the corner. Other than that, we've got prince and princesses' rooms. We've got a personal library up top here. It's also a small spare armory. And yeah, it's just a bunch of guards kind of hanging out. The balcony that overlooks the interior of the castle. Just a lot of fun stuff going around here.
You gotta have rooms for all these characters to live somewhere.
Oh yeah, and there's some up there. There's a lot more you'll see in the underground. A lot of barracks, beds, and all that stuff. Up here is another one of my favorite rooms. We have our war room, which has a mini model of our castle layout. You kind of see the castle, the port. We've even got a little boat in the back, the mountain that's got the dragon inside of it. And then in the back here, there's a map maker's room, to provide all the maps for the battle, help plan everything out. And then we have the throne room, where normally in peacetime the king would be up here to give counsel, but of course he's up top the keep at the moment.
The map is so great. I've always loved that element.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of my favorite rooms in the castle. So we're getting over to the Great Hall. We have these 2 side bits. I guess we're going to pull this whole thing out first. So you can see on the sides, we're pulling them out at the moment. That's where normally the band would be playing, although they're about ready to go join the fight, it seems. And then on the other side, we just have a couple of guest bedrooms for just people that are staying around, usually for diplomats coming to visit.
You got some of the other classic castle figures represented.
Yeah, we have a few of those. The lore is they're some of our allies. So the next thing here, this is our great hall. We wanted to have a good view with keep the chandelier in there, and so we have the front can open, and I also just love the shot seeing the stained glass coming through the back. But we can also pull this lattice work up top off. It's a little bit finicky. It's one of the few finicky bits in our castles, but you can kind of see around here we've got like a big feast going on, and I'm just trying to fix that. We're going to pull that out for now. We got I guess a feast in chaos going on. There's a little on the sides here. If anyone's familiar with the Yellow Castle, we have the 4 original knights as statues sitting in the corner there. Also in the back corner, we've got the queen being escorted out by some of our royal knights. Yeah, that's our great hall. And then from here, the entire underground is revealed, and we can kind of take you through everything that's going on. Starting with this corner over here, we've got our barracks, and this is one of our 2 barracks. We have another one on the other side, and this is set directly into the armory, so soldiers can quickly get out, get armed, and head out, with a little common room next to it for just the soldiers to live. Coming around over here, we've got a little bit of a statue room, kind of some old relics from other nations, other places, which is attached directly to our archive. Just a large library, tons of books. And then we have a small room where the archivist stays, with a bunch of just old relics and trinkets and things.
Lots of pieces from other great LEGO themes in the past.
Yeah, we tried to sneak a lot of things in there. It's just fun Easter eggs of sorts. So going a bit further, we have our main foundry where they do a lot of the armor work and large-scale metal forging. And then kind of a little bit to the right over here, we have our dungeon. We actually have one of the evil wizards captured at the moment. He's just kind of sitting in jail there. But a little bit above that, we have our treasury. Loads of gems and gold and all sorts of stuff over there. And kind of back to the right, we have our wizard's lab. We got a handful of wizards in there. They're all trying to figure out what they can do to combat the skeleton horde.
They're very busy right now.
Yeah, very busy. You can't interrupt their research. Even with a battle going on, they're still dedicated to their research. So again, this next one next to is our servants' quarters. Got a few servants in there. That guy up top's just trying to sleep through the battle. Nothing's going to wake him. And then above that is just, like I said, our second barracks. It's a little bit smaller than our first one, but we've got 2 of them. And then to the right of that, we have our crypt. You can see the whatever magic is making these skeletons animated. It's also working on these guys. And one of the old kings is waking up from his slumber. And a couple of knights are a little bit worried about what's going on down there. And so then coming in, we've got our big pantry, or a lot of our dry goods storage. And kind of to that is around here, we have our food pantry going into our kitchen. I mentioned the wine cellar earlier. It's over there next to a brewery. And this is the large, this sits directly under the Great Hall. So they've got to, cook all the food, store it, cook it, prep it, get it all up to whenever they're doing the large feasts. And I guess the last little bit there's a small armory as well for just, we've got a couple of small armories kind of hidden throughout the castle.
You got to have weapons nearby.
Oh yeah, just in case. I mean, we got the main one, but if you can't reach it, you got to get them from somewhere.
So this layout is incredible. I love to see the castle, but then also how you've added the whole battle scene going on here. Do you know how many minifigures are in the whole layout?
Yeah, so there's about 350 soldiers, knights of various types, and close to about 700 skeletons. And this isn't including any of the peasants, so the non-military, which there's probably about 50 of those.
Wow. Have you at all kept track of the piece count and overall, how many pieces are in the layout?
Not exactly, but we kind of estimated by weight that it's somewhere around 120,000.
Okay, yeah. That is absolutely incredible. So when you bring this to a show like this, obviously the castle is very modular, but then you've got tons of other minifigures and everything that needs set up. So how long does that typically take you guys?
Well, normally in an ideal condition, we'd have all the minifigs set up beforehand. We didn't have a lot of time to do that this year, so it took probably about 4 or 5 hours just to set up the minifigures. As far as building up the castle, we actually have this on a custom table, and it takes about as long to put the table together as it does to actually get the layout done. We have a pretty good system for that. So overall, setup for the castle is about 2.5 hours, and then it was another about 5 hours for the minifigures.
I love the addition of the skeleton ships, especially the bigger one with the interior and everything is so cool. Any plans to expand on that idea or the overall kind of layout in the future?
We have some plans, but I'm going to, in a similar fashion to you asked us with our space wheel, I'm going to leave some of that a little bit secret at the moment.
I'm trying to get you to give the fans something, you know.
Well, we'll just say we're thinking these skeletons will be back next year with something a little more interesting.
There we go. So everyone watching, you got to come out to Brick Rodeo next year. Make sure you check out this layout as well as all the other incredible stuff that you can see here at the show. But I always love seeing what you guys bring out here. It's incredible just to see not only the layout, see how you interact with the public as well, and just how amazed everyone is as you take apart the castle.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun, and we're sad we couldn't have done it the past few years, but we're glad to be back.
Yes. Well, keep up the great work, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.